Around, there was no one there? Or maybe you felt a strange little pulse in your chest, no pain, just something. Out of nowhere, with no clear explanation. Let's rewind and get into the basics. We're not just flesh and bones walking around. We're energetic beings, each of us pulsing with a unique frequency. And that energy? It doesn't just stop at your skin. It radiates outward, forming an invisible field that constantly interacts with the world and with others. Now, when two people develop a deep emotional bond, whether it's romantic, a tight friendship, or even a soul-level connection, they create something more than just a memory. There's an energetic thread that forms between them. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's there, stretching quietly between hearts, no matter how far apart. That thread, it doesn't just vanish. Sure, it might thin out with time, fade a bit with distance, but it never fully disappears, and sometimes that thread activates. Especially when one person starts really, deeply missing the other. Not just thinking about them casually, but a visceral kind of missing. The kind that hits in the chest and doesn't let go. That emotional energy, raw, honest, intense, travels. It rides that thread like a signal through the air, heading straight to you. Quantum physics even backs this up in a way. You've probably heard of entangled particles, right? The ones that affect each other instantly, no matter how far apart. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. And honestly, it's the perfect name, because that's exactly what this feels like. Spooky, strange, but also kind of beautiful. Distance doesn't matter. They could be next door or halfway across the planet. When that longing is strong enough, the energy moves instantly. Like a thought that finds you. But here's something most people don't realize. Not all longing sets off this effect. It has to be real, deep, soul level. It's not the kind of missing where you casually think, oh, I wonder how they're doing. No, it's the kind where every cell in your body aches for the other person. When that happens, their energetic field expands, intensifies, and reaches out, searching for yours like a beacon. And guess what? Your body is built to pick this up. We all have energy centers, chakras, that work like antennas. And the heart chakra, that's the big one for emotional energy. That's why, when this kind of connection hits, you'll often feel it in your chest first, like warmth, or a little hum, or pressure, but not in a painful way, more like a reminder. What's wild is that this doesn't require your conscious effort. You don't have to sit still and meditate or think about the other person. The energy just arrives. Your spiritual radar picks it up, even if your brain is off doing something totally different. Some people are naturally more tuned into this. Empaths. Intuitives. People who are just a little more open, spiritually speaking. But make no mistake, every one of us can feel this. The trick is whether we notice it. And here's the kicker. This energy isn't blocked by walls, oceans, or time zones. Emotional energy doesn't care about geography. That's why you could be waking up in the middle of the night in Tokyo and feel a sudden pull, because someone in Brazil just sat down and thought about you with their whole heart. So now that we've covered the why and the how, let's move into the what. In the next part, I'll walk you through the exact signs your body gives you when someone out there is missing you, deeply. And I'm willing to bet you've felt at least one of them, without even knowing what it meant. Let's talk about what actually happens when someone is thinking about you. Hard. Not just a passing thought, but real, emotional longing. Your body, whether you realize it or not, becomes like an antenna, picking up the signal. And these signals, they usually show up as physical sensations. It's your spiritual system going, hey, someone's reaching out. The most common one is the shiver, but not just any shiver. It's not because you're cold, or scared, or even moved by a song. This one is different. It comes out of nowhere, shoots up your spine in a way that makes you pause, and it almost feels electric. Like a little current running through your body, usually from the base up. That's your aura reacting. It's expanding in response to emotional energy being sent your way. Literally opening up to absorb it. Another frequent sign. That sudden warmth in your chest or your hands. Maybe you're just doing something normal, like washing dishes, scrolling on your phone, or sitting at your desk, and out of nowhere, you feel a wave of heat. Not fever, not anxiety, just warmth pulsing through you. That's your heart chakra flaring up, reacting to real longing energy being directed at you. And then there's the stomach thing, that fluttery weird sensation like butterflies, but not the kind you get before a job interview or a date. It's subtle but persistent. That's the solar plexus in action. It's your third chakra, and it's incredibly sensitive to emotional changes, especially when someone is feeling intense things about you from afar. Sometimes, the signal hits the third eye. You might feel gentle pressure right between your eyebrows, like someone tapped that spot or brushed past it lightly. It's not pain, and it's definitely not a headache. It's your intuition kicking into high gear, like, hey, pay attention, this means something. Then there's this strange shift in body temperature. You're just living your life, and then suddenly, bam, you're uncomfortably hot or strangely cold. And it passes quickly. This happens when your energetic system is trying to align with another person's frequency. You're literally adjusting to their emotional wave. Another sign that surprises people is tingling in the hands or feet. Little zaps, tiny currents, almost like a vibration under the skin. These spots, our extremities, are where energy tends to enter and exit the body. So when someone's emotions reach you, they often pass through those areas. And here's the thing that ties all these together. They happen suddenly. They don't have a logical cause. You didn't run a marathon. You didn't drink 5 espressos. You didn't have a huge emotional trigger. These sensations just show up and then fade just as mysteriously. The intensity of these physical signs depends directly on how strongly the other person is feeling about you in that moment. A casual memory might give you a slight shift, but if they're really missing you, like lying in bed thinking about you kind of missing, you'll feel it harder. It'll stop you in your tracks. But a word of caution here, not every strange feeling is a sign. If something is persistent, painful, or feels off in a concerning way, always check in with a doctor. These energetic signs are fleeting. They pass quickly, often leave you feeling more connected or curious than uncomfortable. The body doesn't lie, but it also shouldn't be your only tool. That's where your dreams come in. Because when you're asleep, the real magic starts. In the next part, I'll take you into the dream world, where spiritual connections get louder, clearer, and way harder to ignore. So now let's go deeper, literally. Because when you fall asleep, something remarkable happens. Your conscious mind goes quiet, your defenses drop, and suddenly your energy field is wide open. And that is when spiritual connections come in loud and clear. When someone misses you deeply, their energy doesn't stop trying to reach you just because you're unconscious. In fact, dreams are often the most direct route. But we're not talking about random, jumbled dreams filled with weird symbols or surreal chaos. These dreams have rules. They feel completely different from anything else. First, they're vivid. You wake up and swear you weren't dreaming at all. You were there. The colors are more vibrant. The conversations are crystal clear. You remember what the person said, how they looked, what you were both doing. Even the emotions feel freshly imprinted on your chest when you open your eyes. Even more telling, you and the person usually interact like nothing ever went wrong. You might have had a falling out in real life or haven't spoken in years, but in the dream, it's peaceful, natural, loving. You're communicating at the soul level, where egos, grudges, and history don't exist. Sometimes, you'll even hear your name being called. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, but clearly, like someone stood at the edge of your dream and said, "Hey, you, come back to me." That's not just a random line your brain cooked up. That's their emotional energy forming literal words in your sleep space. Another powerful indicator? Recurring dreams. You see this person night after night, but the scenery changes. One night, it's a beach. Another night, a train station. Then a house you've never seen before. The location isn't the point, the presence is. The repetition tells you the connection is still alive, still pulsing. And here's where it gets fascinating. Sometimes the person doesn't appear directly. Instead, you dream about things connected to them. A song you both loved, their favorite jacket, a pet they had, or even an animal that somehow carries their vibe. Your subconscious is interpreting the signal and translating it into familiar symbols. Now, there's a rare but incredible thing called a shared dream. You dream about a moment with this person, and later, they tell you they had the exact same or eerily similar dream that same night. That's not coincidence. That's both your souls meeting halfway across the veil of sleep, because the emotional pull was strong enough to sync you up. Watch out for dreams where you or the person gives something to the other. A gift, a letter, even a look or a hug. That's an energetic exchange. Something is being passed to you, emotionally or spiritually. Your subconscious is showing you a real-time transmission. And here's one of the wildest signs. You wake up with their emotions, not yours. You're suddenly filled with sadness, or love, or longing, and you know it's not coming from you. That's the echo of what they were feeling when they connected with you in the dream. There's a difference between a regular dream about someone and a spiritual encounter. In regular dreams, they behave how you remember them. In real spiritual visits, they say things you never expected, show up wearing something surprising, or act in ways that reveal sides of them you forgot or never saw. So if you want to get serious about interpreting this kind of dream, keep a journal by your bed. Write it all down the moment you wake up, every word, color, feeling. Over time, you'll start to see patterns. You'll know which ones are just memories and which are messages. Next, we'll talk about those strange moments when you just know you're wide awake, going about your day, and suddenly, a name pops into your head like lightning. That's not random. That's intuition, and it's more powerful than you think. Now let's talk about those light bulb moments. You're not asleep, you're not daydreaming. Maybe you're at work, driving, folding laundry, and suddenly, boom, someone pops into your head out of nowhere. It's not a gentle memory. It's not a casual, oh, I wonder how they're doing. It hits hard. Their name, their face, a flood of emotion you can't explain. That's what we call amplified intuition. And when it kicks in, it feels like the universe is flashing a giant neon sign in your brain. They're thinking about you right now. There's no logical trigger. It doesn't make sense. But somehow you know. Deep in your gut, in your chest, in the space between your thoughts, you feel their presence. It can come with specifics too. Like, you don't just know they're thinking of you, you suddenly feel exactly what they're feeling. Maybe it's sweet nostalgia, or maybe it's raw longing, even pain. You can sense if they're alone at home scrolling through your old texts, or if they're out somewhere and suddenly hit with a wave of emotion tied to you. Sometimes, this intuitive moment is so strong, it interrupts everything. You freeze. You feel like they're in the room with you. That's not imagination. That's energy, thick, potent, spiritual energy, wrapping itself around your awareness. And it goes both ways. Because here's the twist, while you're feeling them, they're likely feeling you too. It's a mutual frequency match. Like tuning forks ringing across the ether. You think of them out of nowhere, and they're probably doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. One of the most common signs is the mental name call. You don't hear a voice out loud, but it's like someone whispered their name into your mind. Clear, unexpected. You weren't trying to remember them, it just arrived. That's their energy reaching out. Some people also report what's called a presence impression. You're alone, but it feels like someone just left the room, or like they're standing behind you, watching gently. Not in a creepy way, just comfortingly familiar. That feeling? It's their spiritual presence brushing against your field. Amplified intuition isn't always subtle either. Sometimes you feel a pull to check your phone. You don't know why. You just feel like something's about to happen. And then, there it is. A text, a call, a DM from them. It hits you like a wave of confirmation. You felt it before it happened. Another fascinating thing? Emotional downloads. You're having a normal day, feeling fine, and then, without warning, you're overwhelmed by a surge of emotion. You might cry, you might feel your heart swell. But it's not your emotion, it's theirs. You're picking up on their energy in real time. And you're not imagining this. There's a clear line between real spiritual intuition and wishful thinking. The difference is in the way it arrives. True intuition is sudden, grounded, and emotionally neutral. It just is. It comes without fear, without desperation. Wishful thinking, on the other hand, rides in on hope, anxiety, or longing. It's when you try to make the feeling happen. Want to get better at telling the difference? Practice being quiet. Literally. Build in moments of mental silence throughout your day. No phone, no distractions, just stillness. You'd be amazed how many intuitive hits come when your mind finally gets a moment to breathe. And whenever one of these knowing moments strikes, write it down. Date, time, what you felt, what popped into your head. Later, if the chance comes, check with the person. You'll be shocked how often your intuition was exactly right. In the next part, we're diving into something that might sound straight up sci-fi, but it's real. How electronics, your phone, your laptop, even your smart speaker, can react when someone misses you hard enough. Okay, let's get into the weird, but also kind of amazing stuff. Because when someone is emotionally dialed into you, it's not just your body or your dreams that react. Sometimes, your devices do too. Yep, phones, computers, apps, smart assistants. Technology might seem cold and mechanical, but it's actually super sensitive to energy, especially when that energy is charged with deep emotional intent. Let's start with the most common one, the social media coincidence. You haven't talked to this person in months. You don't follow them closely. You don't like each other's posts. You're not creeping on their page. But you open Instagram, and bam, their face is the first thing you see. Or TikTok shows you a video with their name in the caption. Or Facebook randomly shows you a memory of you two together, even though it's not even close to an anniversary or significant date. Algorithms. Maybe. But when this happens right as you've been thinking about them, or they've been thinking about you, it's not just tech doing its job. It's energetic interference. Emotional intention can override the algorithm. Facebook's especially weird with this. Ever had it randomly suggest you add someone you're already friends with again? Or show an old memory that makes your stomach flip because it's of them? Now here's a classic one. You send them a message. It says, "Delivered." You're sure it went through, but they never get it. Later, they tell you they were literally typing a message to you at that exact moment. Somehow, your energies collided mid-air, creating an interference so strong it actually blocked the delivery. That's not a bug. That's a spiritual detour. And let's talk about phone calls. You see their name, your heart jumps. You go to answer, and it just cuts off. No one hung up. It just ends. Or you call them, and it rings once, then dies. Then they call you back and say, "I was trying to call you, but my phone glitched." That glitch? That's the emotional charge short-circuiting the connection. Energy can scramble signals. It's dramatic, but kind of poetic. Now here's one that gives people chills. Phantom notifications. Your phone dings. You feel the buzz. Maybe you even see a flash. You pick it up. Nothing. No message. No missed call. And here's the kicker. Later, the person tells you they were writing you a message, but didn't send it. Their intention alone was strong enough to trigger your end of the connection. And how about this one? Music starts playing on its own. You weren't listening to anything. Your phone's on silent, no open apps. But suddenly, a song starts. Your song. or something that reminds you of them so clearly it makes your chest tighten. No one touched anything, but their energy reached through the ether and hit play. Sometimes it's even visual. You open your gallery and a photo of you two pops up. Not a recent one, not your favorite, but it's suddenly highlighted, almost like your phone is whispering. Remember this. During video calls, you might notice something really strange. Their image freezes right when they're talking about something emotional, or the audio cuts exactly when they mention something vulnerable. It feels like the universe is inserting dramatic pauses for emphasis. The connection glitches only when things get real. You might also get delayed emails, ones that were sent earlier but arrive exactly when you're thinking about them, or in the middle of a tough day when that message hits just right. Timing like that? It's not accidental. And then there's the big one. Apps open on their own. Your chat window with them opens up on WhatsApp with no explanation. Spotify launches to a playlist you built together. Your phone scrolls itself to a text thread you haven't touched in months. You didn't do it. You didn't touch anything. But their energy did. Even your battery can act up. It drains fast when you're thinking about them intensely, or it charges suspiciously fast after you finally do connect. Electronics feel emotional energy, especially when it's heavy or urgent. And finally, the spooky but fascinating one, virtual assistants. Siri chimes in even though you didn't say anything. Alexa starts talking out of nowhere. Google Assistant lights up when the room is silent. That's not tech being nosy. That's tech reacting to a frequency too subtle for us to hear, but strong enough to trip a sensor. In the next section, we'll step outside into the physical world, because when someone's longing for you is powerful enough, even nature begins to echo the message back. So, we've explored your body, your dreams, your phone. But now let's step outside. Because when someone is deeply missing you, it's not just your internal world that shifts. The physical world around you starts to respond in subtle, beautiful, and sometimes flat-out eerie ways. And it's not random. It's the universe reflecting energy back at you through nature. Let's start with animals. They're incredibly sensitive to energetic changes. Your cat suddenly becomes clingy, won't leave your side, follows you from room to room, stares at nothing as if someone invisible is standing there. That's not just cat weirdness. That's them feeling something. Dogs too. They bark at empty corners, look toward doors or windows like someone's about to walk in. Even birds outside your window might change their song. You've heard their chirps 1,000 times, but this time it's longer, more melodic, almost like a signal. And plants, they feel it too. Maybe you have a flower that's been wilted for days, and suddenly it blooms again, out of nowhere. Leaves perk up. Vines stretch just a little farther. It's not magic, it's energy. Plants absorb it, hold it, and when someone is sending you strong emotions, your green companions react. They become little indicators of love in motion. Now let's talk weather. You're thinking about them, and suddenly, the clouds part and sunlight pours through, as if on cue. Or you're walking outside, and the rain stops the second their name crosses your mind. Sometimes, it's the opposite. A gentle drizzle begins just as you remember them, almost like the sky joining in the emotion. Wind is especially reactive. You're sitting still, thinking about them, and suddenly a soft gust passes by, no fan, no open window. Or you feel it brush your skin in a way that almost feels personal. That's energy moving around you, carried by the natural elements. Now, watch for objects that move or appear without logic. That photo of you two that was tucked in a drawer ends up on the living room floor. You find an old gift from them, in a place you know you didn't leave it. The book falls off the shelf and opens to a page with a quote that hits way too close to home. It's not your imagination, it's alignment. Their longing is pulling physical matter into motion. Electronics in your home also start acting differently. Lights flicker, even though there's no storm or power issue. The TV turns itself on, or flips to a channel or show you too used to watch. The radio tunes into a distant station just long enough to play your song. Devices glitch, then fix themselves. It's like the energy is pushing through the wires and circuits to get to you. And then there are the phantom scents. You're alone, windows closed, and suddenly, you smell their perfume. You smell their shampoo. Or maybe it's the scent of a dish they used to make, warming your kitchen for a split second before vanishing. These aren't hallucinations. They're energy memories triggered by strong emotion. You might also find objects outside, small but significant. Coins from the year you met. A piece of paper with their name on it, blowing down the street. A feather at your feet just as you're thinking of them. These are energetic breadcrumbs. Physical clues left by the universe to let you know, yes, they're reaching out. Even lights outside behave differently. Streetlights flicker as you walk under them. Traffic signals change the moment you approach. Neon signs blink when you glance their way. It's as if your energy, and the energy being sent to you, is bending reality just a little. Water's another big one. Faucets drip without cause. Showers randomly shift temperature. Rain starts or stops with eerie timing. Water is an energetic conductor. It feels what you feel. So when emotional energy is moving, it ripples through liquid. And don't ignore glass. Mirrors fog unexpectedly. Windows make soft tapping sounds when there's no wind. Reflections shift subtly, catching glimpses of movement when no one's there. The veil between dimensions is thinner than we think, and longing is a powerful force that reaches through. Clouds are also known to carry messages. You look up and see shapes, letters, hearts, symbols only the two of you would recognize. Sometimes rays of light break through the clouds, spotlighting a feeling, freezing you in place because it just feels meant for you. So how do you know it's real and not just a bunch of coincidences? Easy. Pattern and context. If it happens once, maybe it's random. But if you start seeing these signs back to back and they line up with intense feelings, memories, or gut instincts, that's not randomness. That's real. In the next section, we'll explore how time itself begins to shift, revealing patterns, moments, and synchronicities that go far beyond chance when someone truly misses you. So here's where things get even more surreal. Because when emotional energy is strong enough, even time starts playing along. And no, we're not talking about time travel. But there is a strange kind of cosmic timing that reveals itself when someone truly misses you. These aren't just feelings or intuitions anymore. This is the universe syncing your lives like matching beats in a song. Let's start with the most common and unmistakable time-related sign. You wake up at the exact same time, again and again, with that person on your mind. Maybe it's 3:17 a.m., every night for a week, or 4:40 and you think of them. This isn't insomnia. It's your soul matching their frequency at the exact moment they are emotionally reaching out. These are what some call spiritual time portals, sacred windows where energy travels more freely. You and this person may have set them up unconsciously. Every time that clock hits their number, the connection pulses. And then there's the clock synchronicities. You look at your phone, 11:47, the time you first met. You open a text, 14. Let's talk about moon phases, because yes, even the moon is part of this. When the full moon rises, emotions intensify. You dream more vividly. You feel their presence stronger than usual. Signs multiply like wildflowers after rain. That's because the full moon amplifies emotional frequencies. It acts like a big cosmic loudspeaker. On the other hand, during a new moon, things get clearer, quieter. You receive subtle but deeply accurate downloads. You might not feel emotional fireworks, but you'll know things. It's when you can hear the quietest whispers from the universe, like getting a direct spiritual text. Birthdays are high-powered energetic days, yours and theirs. If it's your birthday and they're missing you, the signs won't be subtle. They'll slam into you like waves. And if it's their birthday, pay attention. That longing often gets pushed into the air. That's when dreams, texts, random signs, all intensify. But it's not just birthdays. Anniversary dates, even the ones you don't consciously remember, have energy. The day you met, first kiss, first argument, the day you took that trip together. Even years later, those dates act like little soul alarms. On those days, signs are more likely to appear. Seasonal shifts play a role too. The first day of spring might flood your heart with warm memories. The first snow of winter might bring an aching kind of nostalgia. It's because season changes shift the planet's electromagnetic field, and that wakes up dormant emotional ties, like turning the volume up on a quiet song. You'll also notice the most ordinary things suddenly feel charged. You're drinking coffee, and it tastes exactly like how they used to make it. You're eating lunch, and out of nowhere, their favorite dish pops into your head. These aren't just memories. If they're also eating or thinking of you at the same time, it creates a cross-dimensional echo. Ever heard of mirror times? 1212. 15. And honestly, it is. It's a signal, a tap on the shoulder from something higher. You might also start noticing a pattern in intervals. Every 7 days, something reminds you of them. Every 15 days, you feel a stronger pull. This is their emotional cycle. Everyone has one. Some people send waves of energy weekly, others monthly. If you track it, you can predict when it's coming next. Even their personal habits influence the signs. If they're a night owl, you'll feel them more at midnight. If they're a morning person who sits in quiet reflection at sunrise, that's when their energy reaches out. Holidays and collective emotional days, like New Year's, Christmas, even Valentine's, can spike the connection, even if you weren't romantically involved. These are days when hearts are more open and emotional memories hit harder. So what do you do with all this timing info? Pay attention. Start keeping a journal of the time-related patterns. You'll be amazed at how consistently these moments line up. In the next part, we'll shift from recognizing the signs to something even more important, validating them. Because not every sign is real, and knowing the difference is the key to true spiritual clarity. You've felt the chills, the sudden warmth, the dreams, the perfectly timed songs. You've seen the signs and the synchronicities. But here's the most important question of all. How do you know it's real? Because let's be honest, sometimes we want a sign so badly that our minds start seeing patterns in everything. That's not spiritual connection. That's projection. And learning the difference between the two will completely change how you move through these experiences. Let's break it down. The first test is emotional neutrality. Real spiritual signs don't need your emotions to function. They show up when you're not even thinking about the person. You could be working, laughing with friends, totally distracted. Then boom, the dream hits. Or the feather shows up. Or their name flashes across your screen. If these signs only appear when you're sad, lonely, or obsessing over them, then they might be coming from you, not from them. Next is specificity. Genuine spiritual manifestations almost always contain details you couldn't have invented. You dream about her wearing a red coat you've never seen before, standing in a place you've never been. And later, you find out, she did buy a red coat. She was traveling. She did visit that exact place. That's the universe giving you more than vibes. That's a spiritual signature with a timestamp. Then comes the control factor. Real signs can't be forced. You can't meditate and make them happen. You can't cry your way into a text message from the beyond. If you find yourself trying to manipulate the energy or begging the universe to give you a sign, and then something happens, it's likely a reflection of your own energy, not someone else's transmission. Now here's something most people overlook: the reactions of people around you. When real energy is moving through you, others notice, even if they don't understand it. Your friends might ask, "Are you okay?" Your parents might say, "You feel different today." Your pet might stay closer than usual. These external validations are priceless. They're confirmation that something is actually shifting in your energetic field. And then there are the golden moments, cross confirmations. You dream about him, and the next day he messages you, saying he thought about you last night. You feel a pull to call her, and she answers saying, "I was just about to text you." These are as real as it gets. No guesswork, no interpretations, just truth showing up from both sides. Real signs also have staying power. They don't hit for one dramatic day and then vanish. They come back. They repeat. They show up on different platforms, in different forms, in multiple environments. If it's a real connection, the signs will keep arriving. Not just when you're emotionally available, but even when you're not expecting anything. Another great way to verify the source: pay attention to how the sign makes you feel. Real signs don't agitate you. They don't spin you into anxiety or obsession. They feel peaceful, sometimes melancholic, sometimes warm, but always centered. If what you're experiencing makes you spiral, if it brings panic or desperation, it's probably your mind trying to fulfill a need, not your soul receiving a message. Here's a surprising tip. Genuine signs often meet resistance first. Your logical brain might say, "No way, that's just a coincidence." You doubt it, dismiss it, until it happens again, and again, and again. Eventually, the repetition breaks down your skepticism. You surrender, and the signs flow in more freely. That initial resistance followed by confirmation. That's a huge marker of something real. Want a method that works every time? Start a sign journal. Write down every single coincidence that feels like more. The date, the time, what happened. After a month, go back and read it. Real patterns will jump off the page. You'll see certain times, dreams, symbols repeating. That consistency is what separates fantasy from frequency. And don't underestimate the power of third-party validation. A mutual friend brings up their name. Someone mentions they asked about you. You hear their name on a podcast you never listened to. These messages are independent of your energy. They come from outside sources, and that's why they matter. Technology, too, can help validate. If you're still connected online, watch their activity from a distance. Did they post a nostalgic song the same night you felt the surge? Did their photo resurface just as the dream hit? Don't obsess, but observe. Look for patterns. The truth is often there in plain sight. And yes, the ultimate confirmation? Ask them. But only if the relationship allows it. Don't be weird. Don't be pushy. A simple, "Hey, I thought about you last night. Were you doing okay?" If they say, "I was actually thinking about you too," well, there's your answer. No drama, just truth. And if the sign is real, it doesn't need convincing. You won't have to hope it's true. You'll know. It'll hit different. In the final part, we'll tie it all together, and I'll ask you to reflect on your own stories, your own signs, and the connections you felt, but maybe never understood until now. So here we are, the final stretch. You've learned how energy moves, how your body feels it, how your dreams hold it, how your phone, your lights, the sky, the wind, all begin to respond when someone truly, deeply misses you. But now comes the most personal part, your story. Because this isn't just about theories or signs or cosmic metaphors. It's about you, the connections you felt, the chills that made no sense, the dream that felt too real, the song that played at exactly the wrong or right moment, the name that popped into your head with no warning and no logic. We've all had those moments. You stop in the middle of your day and think, "Why am I feeling this?" You scroll through your phone, and suddenly they appear. You say their name out loud, without even realizing it. And maybe, up until now, you chalked it up to coincidence, to nostalgia, to wishful thinking. But here's what I want you to remember. When the energy is real, when the bond between two souls is truly strong, nothing is random. The universe is constantly trying to speak to you, through numbers, through wind, through a stranger's voice, through a dream at 4:12 a.m. that wakes you with a lump in your throat. But here's the key. You have to listen. You have to pay attention. You have to stay curious, but grounded, open, but not desperate. Because the signs don't arrive just to entertain you. They arrive to teach you, to reveal something, to reconnect you with others, with the unseen, and with yourself. And as you tune into this frequency more and more, you'll start to notice something remarkable. You don't question it anymore. You just know. You trust the pull. You recognize the patterns. You feel when someone's thinking of you, and you don't need a text to prove it, because your spirit already got the message. Now, here's what I want from you. Take a moment, right now, and think back. What was the most undeniable sign you ever received? Was it a dream? A whisper? A shiver? A random DM at 3 in the morning? Was it a shared song? A phone call that dropped? Or something so strange, so unexplainable, you never told anyone because you thought no one would believe you? Tell me. Seriously. Drop it in the comments, because when we share these stories, we realize how not alone we are. We realize that the universe is always communicating, across miles, across minds, across hearts. We just need to learn its language. And if you felt seen in this video, if it lit up something inside you you'd forgotten was there, please do 3 things. Like the video so more people can find these messages. Share it with someone who might be silently feeling the same connection. Subscribe so you and I can keep having these conversations about the soul, the signs, and everything invisible that still matters. Because this isn't just content, it's confirmation that what you felt was real, that what you dreamed wasn't just a dream, that someone, somewhere, really was thinking of you. And if you want to take this even deeper, to train your mind, raise your vibration, and activate these connections intentionally, check out the 21-day Quantum Thinking Challenge. It's in the top comment. 3 weeks, daily practices, life-shifting results. You'll never see the world or your relationships the same way again. But no matter what you choose, remember this: real energy leaves real traces. It crosses continents, it bends time, it rides on wind, it lives in dreams, it lights up screens and makes mirrors fog without warning. And it whispers the truth in the quietest moments. You just have to be brave enough to hear it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video.